Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time zone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Ogbanje Joseph. Please, please subscribe to this channel, share, like, as well as drop a comment on the comment section. So, our lecture today is titled Theories of Development. Theories of Development. Okay, so but before we go into the lecture proper, please share, like, as well as drop a comment on the comment section. So um so the now political development, okay? Now political development, according to Adebisi 2006, is the remarkable change, okay, recorded in the course of struggling, for power within a state or a political system. According to Ake 2005, okay, political development entails, structural differentiation, cultural secularization, equality, and of course, capacity. Quality and of course, capacity. Now, structural differentiation, according to Ake, is a number of systematically related rules that constitute a political structure or a process whereby roles change and become more specialized or more autonomous. Now, for cultural secularization, equality, and capacity, Ake talks about the change in the political culture of the people and how they react to political issues. Now, political development, therefore, is a remarkable change in the political structure, political culture, and political participation in the process of struggling for power, among political actors and political parties within political system. Now, let us look at the various theories of political development. The first theory of political development is called the system theory. Now, David Easton, who is the major proponent of this theory, is primarily concerned with portraying the relationship between the system and environment in which it is located. Now, according to Easton, there exists a close boundary between politics and other aspects of social life, which indicates that there is a close relationship between the system and the environment. Now, political system theory is defined as a means of converting input. The input are demand and support into output, which is decision and policy. Now, the output would always have an impact on the environment, which is feedback and policies. Okay. Now let us look at the basic components of the system theory. Now, what are the basic components of the system theory? Now, number one is input. Now, what is input? Input is actually, it consists of demand and support into the political system. Okay. Number two, output. Output, consists of decision and policies, that actually come out of the political system. Number three is environment. Environment is also called the feedback. Then number four is the political system, which is the government. Okay. Now, the support of the units to the system is based on the satisfaction derived, from the output, which means that demands have been converted into the functional output. Now, the capacity of the system to convert demand into output determines whether the political system is developed. Okay. Now, a system where there is political development will create institutions that will be suitable to handle or meet the demand of the people. But where the people demand for popular participation and there are no institutions like political parties, independent electoral commission, judiciary, and unmanipulated security, the system is therefore called a politically underdeveloped political system. Now, let us look at the second theory of political development. Now, the second theory of political development is called the structural functional theory. The structural functional theory. Now, this theory can be traced to the works of Tackle Parson, Max Weber, and Emily Durkheim, of course, among others. Now, sociologically, they argue that the society is like a biological organism that is made up of various parts that must work harmoniously for the overall interest of the organism. Now, just like the organism, the society is made up of various social institutions like, the family, the economy, education, religion, politics, and so on. Now, each of these social institutions has a definite role that it must perform to ensure the smooth running of the society. Now, if one of the social system has a problem, it will affect the whole society. Now, in political science, therefore, Gabriel Almond, who is the leading proponent of the functionalist theory, is of the view that every political system must have either a centralized or a decentralized structure, for the smooth functioning of the system. He argues that these structures perform two broad functions of input and output. Now, according to him, for the input function, the input functions include, political socialization, interest articulation, interest aggregation, political communication, while the output functions include, rule making, rule application, and rule adjudication. Okay, so that is actually the second theory of political development. Let us look at the third theory of political development very quickly. Now, the third theory of political development is called the theory of social change. Now, this theory has its origin in the biological science, in the biological science. Now, within the biological science, evolutionary theory provides explanation for the development of the organism from a single simple cell to many complex cells. Now, the process of this growth and development is adopted and applied to human society as object of study in sociology and political science. Okay, now evolutionary theory thus begins with the premise that the transition from traditional society to modern society is achieved through a gradual process. Now, the change process is piecemeal. It is also unilinear. Now, change, according to this theory, has a pattern which every society follows, to attain the status of social progress or development. Now, the theory argues that just like organism develops, from a single simple cell to a complex posture called organism, society has equally changed from a simple form to a complex form, from traditional to modern, from barbarism to civilization. Now, according to Robert in his work Social Change and History, the evolutionary theory is made up of 5 pillars. Number 1 pillar is that change is natural and nothing is static in this life. Number 2, change involves movement to higher stage of development. Number 3, change is directional and characterized by sequence of stages. Number 4, change is continuous, never-ending, and successive changes are related to previous ones in the society, and out of decay, a new one emerges. Then number 5, change is necessary and not accidental, and it is also, not with human control. So nobody can actually control change. Okay, so that is actually, for theory of social change. Number 4 theory is institutional theory. Now, an institution is a set of regularized patterns of human behavior that persists over time. It is a set of differing behavior, which we often call rules, structures, and the like, that can affect decision making and the content of public policy. Now, there are 2 types of institutions. We have the formal institution and the formal and the informal institution. Now, the formal institutions are basically those of government, like the executive, legislature, and judiciary, while the informal institutions include political parties, pressure groups, NGOs, etc. Now, the formal institutions give legal authority to policies and can legally impose sanctions on violators of its policies. Now, the informal institutions, on the other hand, hold the formal institutions accountable. Now, let us look at the last theory of political development, which is the pluralist theory. Now, the proponent of this pluralist theory views society as having cross-cut cleavages. Now, this theory and its proponents argue that every society is complex and diverse. As such, all the cleavages that make up the society must be harnessed and galvanized, for the development of such society. Now, the emphasis here is the allocation of values and power. Now, the theory says group interaction and harmonious relationship among the various groups as key to political development. Okay, so those are the things that we need to know about the theories of political development. There are so many other theories, but I would like to stop here for now. Thank you very much.